Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the On Time, On Target Morning Brief, where we invest in fighter pilot precision on a daily basis. Hopefully, you had a good weekend. Welcome to Monday, October 4th. Lots of cool things to talk about this morning. First of all, the market kind of flat, down just a little bit, but not too many things in motion. And of course, it's Monday morning, so it's pretty light volume so far. Really, the real things that are moving are what we talked about Friday. Have Merck still going long over the potential for the pill, the Merck pill, that is, to be able to assist with the COVID situation, and the rest are selling off the traditional vaccine stocks of Pfizer, BioNTech, and Moderna. So that's kind of what's moving in the markets this morning. Facebook's getting hit off of a negative whistleblower headline. So some hard decisions need to be made if you own Facebook out there. I personally think this is a short-term story. Facebook offers too much value to the world to be taken down completely by this, but I think they'll, like they have in the past, they'll learn from it and move on and make sure that they don't censor people's material unnecessarily, right? And that's really what's in play, is how much censorship should they have, and how they execute it, sort of thing. But what I really want to talk about this morning is Squid Games and the lessons learned financially from the show. I did finish the series. I started it midweek or last week. I can't remember, but I binge watched the last 5 episodes. There gets to be a point where you have to know what happens. So it's one of those shows. It's a thriller. It's a fight to the death, a little bit of that. It's a little bit of a game contest thrown in there. So we're going to talk about that. But the biggest lesson learned from it is the investing versus gambling. And the target audience for the folks that they get in to play these games are people that I think they say, quote, down on their luck, and they owe a lot of money to people. Well, they're mostly gamblers. And they're pretty obvious in the show about that, of people that are bad with money. And these are not just whatever image came to your mind for degenerate gambler. It's far more than that, right? It's not a traditional somebody drinking a 40-ounce malt liquor out of a paper bag kind of person and laying in the street. We're talking doctors, lawyers, we're talking professionals that are in trouble financially. And so that's why I think the lessons are to be learned there. I'll share out the wiki page. We'll talk a little bit about Squid Games here in a minute. But, the lessons are that with your money, as you earn it, and of all things, I saw Shaquille O'Neal give a talk, which I'll get into a little bit later, once we're through the open here, about wealth building versus, especially when you're an athlete or you come into a lot of money, talking about wealth building versus a traditional person who has, gets either goes to school or right out of high school gets a job and goes about life that way, and some of the differences. But there's lots of good lessons we learned there. That's what we talk about today. We'll talk about the different definition of gambling and investing. We'll talk about positive expected value, which depends on which side of the line you're on there. And that's where we're going to have today. So thanks so much for checking us out. If you are checking us out on replay, go ahead and subscribe, hit the notifications bell. If you want to catch us live, it's $25 to come on in the room. You can ask me anything you want. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. All right, here we are. Here's our lineup card for today, Monday, October 4th. Standard disclaimer applies. It's a financial education presentation. You have to do your own due diligence before acting upon anything here this morning. Full disclaimer information is available at ototnow.com. There's the stuff we're going to talk about, but I'm going to skip right away to the Wikipedia page and talk more about the Squid Game. And once I figure out, there we go, that one. So here's the wiki page. There's the tile or thumbnail, if you will, for the cover of the movie. It's set in Korea. It's about kids games, and it's about adults playing kids games for different reasons. It was released worldwide on September 17th. What's that, 2 weeks ago? It's number 1 in 90 different countries. It's easily projected to be the number 1 Netflix streaming show of all time. Overwhelmingly positive reviews, Rotten Tomatoes like 99% or something crazy like that. Not really, there's no spoilers in here except for, here's the episodes, but so don't read through that. But as far as the public response is, again, this is going crazy. It is in Korean language. It's in the native language over there. So you have English subtitles. There's an English version, but overwhelmingly people have said it's terrible. Listen to it in the native language, and that way you can capture all the emotion, even though you don't know what they're saying. You can hear how they're saying it, which is very important as far as understanding what's going on in the show and some of the problems that they're dealing with. It basically in Korea crushed their internet. So many people were streaming it. So it's kind of funny. They filed a lawsuit against Netflix seeking monetary damage because it basically shut down the country. So many people are streaming it. There's one phone call there's one phone number that's in the show, which if you've even seen the first episode, you know what I'm talking about. That actually belongs to a private residence. And that man reported receiving 4,000 calls a day from people who wanted to play the real life version of the game. So, I mean, this is kind of how crazy this thing has gotten out there. So hopefully you check it out and enjoy it. But the real examples I want to talk about this morning are the difference between investing and gambling. So when you really talk about investing, by definition, it's the allocation of capital with the expectation of gain and probability of loss. Okay, so if you peel that back, expectation of gain. So what that really means is positive EV, which is positive expected value. Meaning if you take $1 and put it towards an investment, you have a probability better than 50% chance of it increasing in value, and you have a possibility of it losing value. If you take a look at the definition of gambling, it's exactly in reverse. It's the probability of loss and the possibility of gain. So think of a lottery ticket. You pay a small amount for a lottery ticket, you're probably going to lose it and not win your money back or anything higher. But there is always that possibility that you are going to make money. So take that into the casino, right? Las Vegas is probably the biggest example, but there's casinos popping up everywhere where the house has a positive expected value in every game that they put out there, right? And even though it's a small edge, it's large amounts over time with a small edge can build cities, right? So they are investing when they put a slot machine out on the floor. That's an investment to them. It's a gamble for you because you're probably going to lose your money. But every now and then somebody wins big, they put their picture and face and big check on the wall and everybody's happy, right? People line up in droves to basically spend their money. So when you relate this back to, what we do here is all investing. When you think of a diversified portfolio, you are going to allocate your capital with the expectation of gain and possibility of loss. So take 20 different names. We're pretty focused on how I invest for folks, but we still have that 15 to 25 names or, minimum of like 8 or so, realizing that, they're not all going up. We bought them with the expectation that they all go up, but in the real world, things move against us. The marijuana theme, Chinese tech, those names have moved against us. So when you just have to accept that, cut them from your portfolio, and then move on to other things that have the positive expected value. So that's how you do it from an investing standpoint. I get pitched several different things regularly that are penny stocks or crazy speculative, and that's gambling, right? So it may go from 1 penny up to $5, and you'll have a story of a lifetime to tell anyone that you can corner who probably doesn't care about your story. But whoever you can corner or listen to it, you can tell them all about your crazy penny stock and how you turned $5 into 500. Well, unless you're swinging a bigger bat, nobody's going to care anyway. But that's what people do. They want that story. They want that gain. And relating it back to Squid Games, that's how all these people from all walks of life have gotten into trouble financially. And they don't spend a ton of storyline on it in character development, but everybody has a little bit different of a story about how they got there, right? And why they're willing to participate in these games, with the possibility of, you'll find out that the downside is that some of them don't make it out. I say some with a chuckle. But it's kind of the Hunger Games, except people volunteer to be there. And the third rule of the game is if people agree, you can walk away at any point in time. If more than half the people agree, you can walk away at any time. And it's insane because they keep talking about it, and you'll see throughout the show that that's played out a few times. But it really is fascinating talking about that. And watching the different characters discuss it, and is the money worth it? And it's not the money, it's the thrill. All kinds of different themes at play. So really something to think about while you're watching the show if you check it out. Last thing I will talk about, I mentioned in the open, Shaquille O'Neal. You talk about financial advice. So I'm on TikTok, but largely for entertainment value. But I do tend to subscribe to like the wealth building and there's all the, millionaire success and the fast cars and boats and fancy houses and stuff. I like looking at that stuff. Right. So anyhow, the more you like those things, the more the algorithm gets away from traditional TikTok of, it seems like a lot of young folks trying to do things to make themselves popular to really people that have stuff to offer. Not that those don't, but anyway, more educational type material, if you will. And yeah, there's Shaquille O'Neal, and he's talking about it. He talked to his advisor back in the day. And they said, normally, if you go out and you get a job, you save 15% of what your salary or your wages, and that goes towards your retirement. Right. And you work for 40 years, and then you have a nest egg that continues to now turn around and give you that money back, so you can live in that same lifestyle. He goes, it's different. He goes, if you get over $100,000 of your salary, or you're talking professional athlete, where now you're not working 40 years, you're working maybe 4 or 10 if you have a long lifespan in your athletic career. But he goes, anybody who takes in a lot of money is you take 75% of it and immediately lock it away in investings. And he says, and Shaq said, he goes, the other 25%, you can blow on Lambos, mansions, whatever. He goes, but you never touch the 75%. He said that was the advice that he got back as a young man. And it's really paid off for him. I'd never thought of it in those terms of the salary before, but I certainly can see that now, especially if somebody has an equity event. It's like, how much do you lock away? And then how much do you inflate your life, right? Or inflate your lifestyle, which is a good thing. More stuff, more things to do, so that sort of thing. But really an interesting take. So, all right, enough Squid Games, enough Shaquille O'Neal. Let's switch over to the TD Ameritrade for the market open. I'll be back with you in about 10 seconds. All right, welcome everyone to the on time, on target play of the day. I did not plan on trading any of these themes today, but if you want to trade Merck higher on the pill, and then the COVID names, Invax, BNTX, or even Moderna are all gapping down about 5%. Here's the opening bell. And we are off to the races. Since I'm not trading, I'm going to look away here a little bit. I do want to talk about kind of what's going on in the overall market. So all the trend lines are up. Last 2 of the 3 days have actually been up. If you will. It's hard to tell here because candlesticks kind of, it's in the red if it finished lower. But when you look at it, it's where, it closed higher than the day before. So that would technically be an up day, even though you have a red candlestick. But on Friday, we had the pretty nice up day, right? So I think over 1% across the board. So overall, things are looking pretty good there. If we break south from here, if we break down, that'll be interesting to see how far we go before it resets to go higher. But overall, I'm not too worried about it. Even if it breaks down, I don't think it'll go below 400. I do have an investing brief coming up Wednesday night. I was going to do it last night, but couldn't get there in time. So moved it to Wednesday night. You'll receive an invite for that today, and more information on that. Again, 6:30 to 8 Central is where I'm targeting for that timeline. All right. And that's where we get into a little more of this stuff in detail, if you will. All right, the SPY, breaking it down to the 5-day chart, you can really see here was that Friday move higher. It was pretty steady across the board. Had Wednesday flat, Tuesday, Wednesday flat, Thursday down big, Friday up big, and today we're already starting off pretty decent here. As far as names moving higher, Tesla's been in the news. They released a bunch of their numbers. Let's see, Ethereum, all of your cryptocurrencies are basically poised to do well in the fourth quarter. So not surprised there. All right, over on the downside, let's check that out. MongoDB, Trade Desk, those are some tech names. Neo, Chinese car maker. Facebook's down big on that news of the whistleblower. They've identified the person, which I don't think you're supposed to identify the person on a whistleblower, but anyhow. So the name is out now. So a bunch of drama in the air on Facebook. Again, long term, I'm not worried about it, but it is 10 to 12% off of where it was in recent weeks, if you will. Baba down, Blackstone down, K-Web down, Palantir down. So a lot of heavy tech names are down this morning. And I bet you, to be honest, a lot of that's caused by the sell-off in Facebook. If you're a fund manager and your clients care about that stuff and you want, they are like, I want out of all exposure to Facebook. Well, you're not just selling the stock, you're selling a bunch of index funds that are technology based. And if you sell a bunch of those names, then it's going to take the tech market down with it. So I think that's what's going on here with all the tech names that are selling off this morning, except for, of course, Tesla. So, all right, that's what I've got for the opening. Let's see. Merck certainly is not gapping up. It's selling off here pretty hard. And then these other two, just like they did the other day, they sold off hard until the market opened and people were buying them. So actually, here's our long is going short and here's our two shorts going back long in the same space. So again, trading on Monday mornings is largely a futile effort, if you will, because not low volume and a lot of stuff doesn't make sense. All right, let's come back over to CNBC. We did not talk about the market reviews. Refresh here. So again, Dow slightly in the green, S&P and NASDAQ. NASDAQ's kind of heavy into the red. EU in the green across the board. Asia mixed. There was our pre-market. The interest rate's kind of been stable here for about a week, and it was good because it was moving pretty quick there for a while, but between 1.4 and almost 1.5. So oil also above 75. Some folks are saying it's going to run up to 80. I wouldn't make an investment on that, but that's what some folks are predicting. Gold and silver selling off a little bit, and then crypto's down today, even though it was up this weekend. You can see Bitcoin's almost to 48,000. So again, back to kind of recap some of the stuff we were talking about. I saw a couple of folks show up right there at the open. Again, today we're talking about investing versus gambling. We're talking about Squid Game. If you have not watched Squid Game, it's an interesting lesson in financial, the people getting the best and worst of their financial situation. People are, largely our adults are choosing to participate in a highly dangerous game to win a bunch of money, largely because they've made bad decisions in their past. So anyhow, you can go back if you caught me late, catch the replay, and you can go back and hear the open on that. With that, I'm gonna let you guys go for the day, and we'll see you back tomorrow morning. Bye.